Hey, hockey fans, and welcome back to another edition of Puck My Life. Today, I'm joined with Jose. How we doing, buddy?
Doing good. Just being me.
Just being you,
Yep.
just chilling out today. This
Yep.
beautiful October day. It was supposed to get up into the 70s. I was actually really shocked, and my buddy told me that the other day. I'm like, I will definitely take it. What's today? The 24th. Yeah, almost through October, and we're still having 70-degree weather. I'll take that anytime.
Mm-hmm.
So, you ready to talk some hockey or what, man?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, so today we're going to talk about the Fort Wayne Komets game experience that we had. They are part of the ECHL, and they play at Allen County War Memorial Coliseum, located in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So for us, it was a decent drive. It's not like super long to get down there, just about 4 hours to drive down there. And it's about 250 miles. So 3 hours 56 minutes, 250 miles to get down to the Coliseum. And yeah, this is it. It's an older building. I'm not exactly sure what year it was constructed. I know it's been through a lot of renovations since it was built. They actually raised the roof in it, I think about 30 to 40 feet a few years ago. So it's quite the arena. This is what it's like when you first come through those doors, kind of entering into the concourse. We actually entered into the game at the top of these escalators. There were some doors there that we went through to get into the actual main part of the concourse. The concourse is actually really small, like going around like to the different sections and stuff like that. It wasn't open at all. I thought it would be more of an open concept, but this is about what it was to get through to our section. And then we were actually on the opposite side of where I took this photo. But yeah, this is a really cool building, and it actually has like a really big feel on the inside. What did you think, Jose, when we first rolled up onto the Coliseum?
Honestly, I thought it was pretty nice. I mean, I didn't even know it was renovated, but I just kind of figured, oh, another arena, whatever. But you go inside. I mean, it's nice. It's like a whole like little mini shopping mall at first with the escalators. I'm like, I've never really seen that anywhere in like an arena besides like a bigger stadium, of course. But overall, I mean, I thought it was a really nice, like, well kept arena. I mean, I think overall inside, like where the rink is and all like the seats. I mean, it was really clean. I mean, most arenas you go into, there's like just gum on the floor, beer spilled everywhere. I mean, it's just really disgusting. But honestly, you look at some of the pictures, we have. I mean, it's nice. Like it's really clean. But overall, I think it was pretty solid.
Yeah, and this venue is also host the Fort Wayne Mad Ants, who are part of the G League in basketball as well. So there's a few different teams that call this place home, and then I know that they put on a ton of concerts and everything. There's a lot of stuff going on at this building all year round. It's a great part of the Fort Wayne community. All right, first thing we like to talk about in these game experience videos is the parking. So from this aerial shot of the Coliseum, you can see they definitely have a good sized parking lot, and you can do on-site parking. There was, as you can see across the street, there's businesses and stuff like that, but we just went when we went there to the on-site parking. It was $10 for the game, not too bad, and there was plenty of parking for everybody. So don't worry about it. The best thing to do, I would suggest, just go straight to the arena, just pay the $10, and you'll be good to go. All right, next up is tickets. So tickets actually weren't too bad for this game. Purchased 3 tickets for this game. It was $74.19. That night they were playing the Kalamazoo Wings, which I guess they have a pretty good rivalry with. It's one of the closer teams to them in the ECHL, just right across the border there in Michigan. So we were definitely in for a good matchup that night. And then we'll jump into the merch. So just after we went through those doors that we were talking about at the top of the escalator, it opened up, and then there was this like little merch spot that they had in the corner. They didn't have any other kiosks or anything throughout the arena. It was just this spot, and it looks like they kind of just wheel everything out for the game. It's not like a permanent thing that they have set up. It's just this is where they set up merch for the games. And they actually had a really good selection. I was really surprised when we got through the doors and was starting to check things out. I mean, they had a little bit of everything. They had stickers, the mini sticks, all kinds of stuff for all kinds of budgets. They had a really good puck selection, which I was really surprised about. And then in this next photo, you'll see this like puck display that they had. It had 5 pucks in it, and I think it was like $120. And then you could buy some of those pucks they had, you could buy individually. It had like a piece of acrylic plexiglass on the bottom and the back, and then it was like screwed together. So I mean, it was kind of cool, but for that price, I was not going to pay that much for that. But the thing that I did score, you can see it hanging up there in the background, is I did get a Komets hockey T-shirt, and then I also, in the next photo, I grabbed one of these signs for my office. This was like $12. It was really cool. I love that it had the puck on there. Unfortunately, they did not have that exact puck for sale, but they did have these two, and we'll show you a little bit more of a close-up of what we got. So the first one that Jose is showing, this is the official game puck for the Fort Wayne Komets. You can see it's got the ECHL stamp, and I think that's the commissioner's signature on the back. And then the one that I got, unfortunately for Jose, this was the last one that they had. And it's really cool to have the spaceman on there. Really sweet puck. Nothing on the back, but they should be getting more of these next season. I don't know if we'll actually be going back down that way again next season. I'm not really sure. But what were your thoughts, Jose, of the variety of merch that they had compared to some of the other arenas that we've been to, not only last season, but even this season as well?
Honestly, I think it was pretty solid. I think it was good. A lot of the arenas and games we've been to, it's either been hit or miss as far as selection and as far as the quality of a puck. Because there have been pucks I've gotten in like the past season that all they literally do is, I'm not even kidding. Like they probably just stamp it, call it good, charge $5, $10, whatever. I mean, it's a cheap puck. It's whatever. It's not going to be like the quality like with NHL, but a lot of them that we went to for the Komets, I mean, it was solid. I wanted that spaceman, but like Tyler said, I mean, it was the last one, and I was a little bit bummed. I'm like, crap. All right, well, no one's gonna have another one unless they're using them for warm-ups, which I doubt. But overall, I think the puck selection was definitely good. I mean, it was pretty simple but pretty cheap.
Yeah, if anybody out there has one of those Komets hockey pucks and you like to hook Jose up, just DM us on Instagram or comment below, and he'd be very appreciative of that gesture. All right, next up is the concessions. So they did have actually quite a bit of selection for when it came to their concessions all around the arena. Prices weren't too bad. I mean, $9 for a large beer. Premium draft was $10. I mean, it was, in all honesty, like it wasn't very far off from what you would see at an NHL or AHL game. Coffee $3, cotton candy $5. Big king size candy bar. I thought that was kind of a ripoff at $5 for a king size candy bar. But then they had like some other name brand stuff in there. Like you can see they had the Annie Ann stuff. We've talked about this before, the whole bottled water thing. I mean, $4. I mean, I'm going to be curious that when we get caught up with a lot of this stuff, which arena actually charges the most for a bottle of water. I think I've seen $5 before, but I think everybody's averaging right around $4, which it's just way too much. And then the Coliseum Classics is just your normal stuff, your hot dogs, your nachos. I mean, nachos with cheese, $6, not too bad. A lot of places I'm noticing now, and I think Jose, you've noticed this too. They're charging like $2 just for the cheese now.
Yep.
And it's just one of those like little cups of cheese, and it's just like, this is just ridiculous. So a lot of the prices of this concession stuff is just getting, I think, a little bit out of hand. I don't know. Let us know in the comments what you think about concession prices and how they're going. I mean, what were your thoughts, Jose?
Not really any different than most arenas I've been to. I mean, I personally don't really get concessions. I mean, the only way I would ever see myself getting concessions at any rate is if I were starving, dying of thirst, or I just need something to hold me over throughout the game. But overall prices, I mean, it's nothing like insane, like $10 for a bottle of water. That I would feel like would deserve a riot. But $4, $5. I mean, it's insane, but you might as well just chug one in the parking lot and be good for the next 2 hours. But overall, I mean, it was average. I mean, it was all right.
Yeah, wasn't too bad. All right, next up is Atmosphere. So we do have a couple of clips to show you guys from this game. So let's roll them. So yeah, as you can see in a lot of those clips, there was a lot of scuffs going on, a lot of fights. These guys do not like each other one bit. So that was a common theme throughout this game, was a lot of the fighting, and there was a lot of goals scored. The Komets did end up pulling it off at the end. One thing that I did see at this game that I've never seen at another game, and it was this. What were your thoughts on the Beavis and Butthead cam there, Jose?
I mean, I thought it was cool. I thought it was funny, but I almost and see, hear me out. I would almost want to see more like, teams or arenas, or I don't know who really organizes all that, but I want to see like more of that, like, just parody stuff, like just something that kind of get people engaged. Sure, we're out there to see a hockey game, but I think it's funny when they add a little bonus at the end, even if it's like Beavis Butthead, or let's say who can beat each other in rock paper scissors, like just something cool that's like novelty. Like that's what I like to see sometimes, and that's honestly what kind of gets me coming back to more of these teams.
Yeah, you will see that a lot more in the higher level, like AHL, especially the NHL. I mean, they just have the budget, they have the team to be able to do that. But yeah, it was really cool to see the Beavis and Butthead cam. But also too, Jose, what were your thoughts on just the overall atmosphere, like from the fan engagement to, I don't know, from start to finish? What were your thoughts from an atmosphere standpoint?
Honestly, I loved it, and I say that about most teams I go to, but a lot of like the arenas. I mean, depending who's playing, I guess, because they're rivals. Sure, it's gonna be hectic, but overall, I think that was a really good game, and it was a really good atmosphere to go along with it. And I think that just kind of goes hand in hand together, because a lot of teams that I've seen that were like lower league, it's really crappy to see that no one's engaged. And I mean, there's been a few games recently we've been to that have been kind of like that, but we'll definitely get into them when we get around to recording for them. But overall, I love the Komets atmosphere. I love the whole shebang about like the cam and everything, just because they do have a higher budget. But I really do think more teams kind of need to do what they did with the Beavis and Butthead stuff. Not just saying that specifically, but just overall, like just get people engaged. Like it just gets boring after a while when they do nothing.
Yeah, I totally understand, and that's something that I hope will trickle down to some of the lower level leagues. I know that they're dealing with certain budgets. Some of them don't even have a jumbotron to be able to support something like that, but they do have mascots. They do have some tools at their disposal to be able to get fan engagement up, get some chants going and everything. And it's just, I think some of them are just kind of dropping the ball a little bit, but that's something that's going to come with time. And as these teams grow and they expand and stuff like that, I think it's just going to come natural to them. So, All right, moving on. We have, well, actually, before we get into the puck score, so when we went to this game, so it's Jose and I, and then I ended up going with my uncle. So my uncle lives like just a few minutes away from the Coliseum. He's always been talking to me about coming down and catching a game. So finally answered the call and went down and watched the game with him. And then the next night we were actually in Indianapolis watching the Fuel. We'll talk about that one more later. So yeah, it was a really good night, and I was glad to share that experience with you, Jose, and also my uncle as well. All right, so here's the puck score. Parking, I gave him an 8, tickets 9, merch 9, concessions 8, atmosphere 7 for initial puck score of 41. So what are your thoughts on what I gave them for their puck score, Jose?
I think it's solid. I think it's a good score. Atmosphere, I could, kind of see it, but concessions, merch, tickets, parking, I mean, it all makes sense. I mean, it was just a good experience. I mean, tickets were affordable. They weren't insanely expensive. Parking was super dumb cheap. Merch
Yeah.
was on point, and I say that like here and there for certain games, but this one was definitely on point. Good pucks, good designs, and me, I'm a t-shirt guy, so like I'm a sucker for tees, but I don't really buy a whole lot of them, from like hockey games because either they're expensive or I just don't like the material. But overall, I like the graphics on them. Concessions, again, I just don't partake in it because I just think they're all overpriced no matter what. Um, Oh, I think that was an okay prices, but overall, I'd say it's a solid puck score.
Yeah, and for the X factor, wow factor, I didn't award them any extra points. I don't think that there was anything that just wowed me at all. I thought it was a solid experience for the ECHL. I was actually a little underwhelmed at times. I thought there would be a lot more people there from stuff that I've heard about the team and about the games and stuff like that. So I felt like it fell a little bit short of my initial expectations going into it. So because of that, I didn't award them any extra points for the wow factors to give them a final score of 41 for their puck score. So I think that's fair, all things considered, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I
Okay.
mean there wasn't anything spectacular. Like sure there was a few fights, but it's not like we're like everyone just got on the ice and just started beat the dog crap out of each other. I mean that basically happened at one game, and I know Tyler, you know
Yeah.
which one I'm talking about, but
Yep.
that one was everywhere all over Instagram. We'll get to it at some point, but I will
Yep.
definitely be excited to talk about it because that whole experience was like probably my favorite from last season. But
Yeah.
overall, Comets, I mean, nothing too crazy, but overall good experience.
Nice. All right, moving on. So what's left? We're still chipping away at the list, guys. It's taking us a little bit longer to get through this now that we're in the season and we're trying to hit up teams and stuff. So it's definitely starting to pile back up on us. We're trying to chip away at it as best we can. Like for example, like on this slide here, you have Sugar Kings, Central, and Hamilton, and like those are new teams for this season. And then I was looking at this, I forgot to add the Metro Jets. That's a new one. So there's another one that has to go on here. These three teams, Jose and I went and saw last week. We went and saw the Buffalo Stampede in Lockport, New York, and then on our way back home, we stopped in St. Catharines and watched the Niagara Ice Dogs. And then the last night we swung through Sarnia and watched the Legionnaires, which I think is probably one of our best trips, quick trips like that we've done in a while. And I'll be really excited to talk about that one. Everything was pretty much smooth from start to finish on that one, and we're still looking forward to what the rest of the season is going to hold for us. If you go back and watch the season kickoff video, these two teams, the Stampede and the Ice Dogs, I don't think were in that video. So those are two teams that weren't really on the radar at all, and we're already starting to knock out teams that we weren't even expecting to see. I would have never thought we would see the Buffalo Stampede this season. Did you, Jose?
No, I mean it's just one of those trips where let's plan it out because the season's still going on and there's plenty of games to see. But
Yeah.
which one lines up with our schedules and what games can we possibly catch in 3 nights, 4 nights, whatever, and like the same row? And honestly, this stuff is not easy. I mean, it's easy to kind of figure out like scheduling wise, like okay, this team's playing this day and then that day, whatever. But if we could kind of make it go in a straight line because we literally, and not to spoil too much, but we literally just went straight line through Canada all the way to Buffalo. and then back. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
like super complicated, but trips like that are much easier for us to do rather than having to do a whole triangle and having to worry about traffic or what times we're getting there or flights. I mean, it's insane. But trips like that, I mean, I definitely want to do more of. I don't mind flying. I don't mind any of that. But
Yeah.
overall, like driving, it just saves us time.
Yeah, and before we continue on, just one thing that I wanted to throw in there regarding this. A lot of the trips that you and I have done have been over the weekend.
Hmm.
But what were your thoughts of us doing a trip like this where we were gone a Tuesday, Wednesday, and a Thursday? Because a lot of times, if you guys are out there trying to find games to go to, I know it's a lot harder for some people during the week because of work and everything. But Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays sometimes, but Tuesdays and Wednesdays mostly are very hard to find games to go to. So, with that being said, what were your thoughts of us doing a midweek trip versus what we normally do and go over the weekend?
Um, I I don't really know if I prefer it. I mean, I like doing them because I have the time to, but again, it's hard to find games because everyone's schedule is different, at least for all of us. But as far as like a team schedule, it's publicly out there. They're gonna do it regardless, unless something major comes up. But overall, finding a game wasn't too hard for us for 3 nights. But as far as doing it in a weekday, it gets a little bit weirder because of work and schedules and school and whatever. But obviously, I would
Mhm.
say like Thursdays, Fridays through Sunday, definitely the golden time to do it. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or whatever, it's weird, but it's still doable if you have the time and the money to do it. It's not super expensive because a lot of these teams tickets aren't even that much, but you're still gonna get a decent game out of it.
Yeah. And we had three pretty good games. We won't tell you what the outcomes were, but it was a good road trip. We'll just put it this way: it wasn't a good road trip for the home teams that we saw. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
So if you haven't already, head on over to Instagram, give us a follow. We are actually gaining a decent amount of traction over there, and it's been a lot of fun connecting with you guys through Instagram and through YouTube as well. And man, a lot of the response we've been getting has really been pushing me to go harder this season with all this, and we really look forward to what the rest of the season is gonna to bring. A couple things that we do have coming up are we have the Kalkaska Battlers game that's going to be November 4th, so you can join us up there. That'll be their first ever home game for the organization. So yeah, November 4th, mark that in your calendar. And then we will be going to the Global Series in November as well. That'll be the 15th through the 20th. So we will be gone during that time. I'm not sure exactly how much posting we'll be able to do when we're out there. Cody was telling me that they have good public Wi-Fi and everything. So as long as everything goes well, we'll try to give you some updates while we're actually over there. But yeah, it's going to be quite a trip. We're really looking forward to it, and it's going to be a very busy November. We're already starting to plan out stuff for December, and even looking at February and March already. So some other trips. So it's I'm not sure exactly where we're going to end up, a year from now, but it's definitely going to be a good season. So sit back and hang tight because it's going to be a wild one. And if you haven't already, you can just go over. I'm not going to go over all this. Check out the link tree there on Instagram, some of our sponsors and everything over there. Check it out. If you have any questions about that, just let us know. But that pretty much does it for today. This was a kind of a quick one, not really a lot of extra stuff to say about this one. Just a good overall experience that we had in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I know the next night was just as good down in Indy watching the Fuel play. So do you have any last words or comments that you'd like to say before we get going?
Honestly, Comets game pretty solid. The next night was solid. Overall, that whole trip was just good. I would say as recent games, I mean, we definitely been having some good luck in pucks and whatnot there, but there's definitely some interesting tidbits, I would say, for whenever we do get around to recording them that, I definitely
Mhm.
want to bring up. But overall, the season's been pretty good to us. I mean, every team we've been to so far, we've gotten pucks, not to like spoil or anything, but every team we have gotten pucks. There only has been one time where we may or may not have gotten them, but we did get them. Um, overall, I'd say the quality of games have been pretty solid, been for pretty much every league we've been to. And I look forward to going to many more this season, no matter how many times I have to wake up early in the morning and go to sleep like 1, 2 in the morning, and then wake up 6. So, but yeah, overall solid.
Yeah, well, good. Well, Jose, thanks for coming on today and going over the Komets game experience with me. We will see you guys in the next one where Jose and I will talk about the Indy Fuel. So you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next one. Adios.